All right, guys. Today we're just continuing on. Yesterday we did a single fraction to simplify. We did multiplying. So today is dividing. Yay! How do you divide fractions? You multiply by the reciprocal. Hopefully that at least jogs a little bit of your memory from when you were younger. That's what we're doing today. We're working on division. So your division steps, again, you have your green paper from yesterday. Caleb, you're going to want to make sure you get a green paper from yesterday. So we're moving over to the division column. You have very similar steps in yesterday, except for the first two. You will flip the second fraction and change it to multiplication, and then it's just what we did yesterday. Yay, right? It doesn't really change much, right? Because that's how you divide fractions. You multiply by the reciprocal. Reciprocal just means you flip it over. So, very first one. So that's a division problem. So we want to go ahead and change that to multiply, and we're going to flip the second one over. First one's going to stay the same. You change division to multiply, and the second fraction flips over. And then the rest of your steps, it's now a multiplication problem. So it's just like yesterday when we multiplied. So in this case is now step 3, is to factor. Does anything factor if there's no plus or minus signs? Nothing factors. Yeah, if you don't have a plus or minus, it doesn't factor. And if there's no plus signs and no minus signs, that means every single piece I can kind of break apart. Do you remember yesterday? Okay, so that means looking at this, nothing's going to factor, but everything's kind of fair game to cancel. But don't forget we have restrictions in there. Notice on my denominators, I have an x and a y, and neither one of them is allowed to equal 0. Right? And then what cancels? An x, okay? X here, I'll turn this into an x squared. 5y's. So all of these y's are gone. This will be y squared now. How about your numbers? 3 and 9, I can divide them both by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 9 divided by 3 is 3. Anything else? 20 and 8 by 4. 20 divided by 4 is 5. 8 divided by 4 is 2. Do you see how people lose pieces of this? It gets ugly. I think the different colors help, but it's still ugly. So I think I've canceled everything we can, right? So then what's after doing all that? You smoosh it all together. So on the top, what do you got left? Perfect. We usually put the number out in front, right? 5x squared and y squared. Just kind of smooshing all that together. What about the bottom? Good. It's over 6. Because what's that dot mean? It means multiply. Some of you yesterday thought it meant a plus sign. Not a plus sign. 2 times 3 gives me 6 on the bottom. Again, do that little mental check. Be like, all right, I have a 5 over 6, my x and my y on top. Like, just make sure there's nothing left that can cancel out. Sometimes we miss things. When you write it all together, you're like, oh, yeah, and there's something else there. Okay, so far? All right, number 2. It is a division problem. So what do we do with it? We flip it. So this is going to change to multiply. This one's going to flip over. Now, can I be a lazy mathematician on you guys? Is that okay? No? My lazy mathematician is, I know that needs to flip, but can I factor it and flip it at the same time? Don't make me rewrite all that, right? You guys okay with that? So this x squared minus 9 on the bottom, that's going to be an x plus 3, x minus 3 on the top. Right? It's not on the bottom anymore. It flips up to the top. If you need to rewrite and then factor, that's okay. I'm lazy. Let's be honest. It's a lot of writing. So what about the top that's now on the bottom? Good. I can take out a 15x squared from that one. So you're going to be left with x plus 3. Okay. I kind of neglected the first fraction. We'll come back to that. What about the top? How do you factor that? Take out a 5x. So x plus 2 in the bottom. So one's plus, one's minus, x and x. It would be a 2 and a 3. Positive 2 minus 3. All right, so step 1 and 2 was change, multiply, and flip it. Step 3 was factor. Step 4, bless you. What do I do next? Not cancel, read your paper. Restrictions. X cannot equal. Looking at my denominators because I can't have a 0 down here. What do we get? Negative 2, 3, 0, and negative 3. Woo! A lot of restrictions on that one. All right, and then the fun part. Anything cancel? A lot? So I see x plus 3, x minus 3, x plus 2. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 15 divided by 5 is 3. Cancel this x with one of those. Now, here's where people mess this up. They get all the way through that, and they tell me their answer is 3x. It's 1 over 3x. Because where's the 3x located? They're in the bottom. It's 1 over 3x. And then I get the old, it doesn't really matter. You want a third of a cookie or do you want 3 cookies? That makes a big difference, right? Oh, you only want a third of a cookie? You want a third of $1 million or do you want $3 million? Now we're talking, right? I want $3 million. All right, why don't you guys try number 3 on your own? Number 3. All right. So division changes to multiply. Flipping this one over. That difference of squares on top will now be on the bottom. X plus 1, x minus 1. The bottom now comes up to the top. I can take out a 2x. So I have x minus 3. Over here, this is going to be x plus 4 and x plus 1. And the bottom's going to be x plus 4 and x minus 3. So there's your all factor. All right, restrictions are next. Good. So there's your restrictions. That x looked funny. All right, from there, cancel. Tops and bottoms. So I have x plus 1. I have an x minus 3. X plus 4. So I have 2x left on top and an x minus 1 on the bottom. Ooh, can I cancel these x's? Why not? That's connected with a plus or minus sign, so we can't take that. And we're done. Yay? Or nay? Good? All right, I'm going to hop and skip and jump a little bit if you guys don't care. Real quick on this one, do you see how the top and bottom are not written in standard form? Just make sure you rewrite in standard form before you factor. Skip that one. Let's jump to 7. I know, those penguins adorable. See why I didn't switch my notes? I know we haven't hit Thanksgiving yet, but they were so cute I didn't want to change them. So look at number 7. There are 3 fractions. Does that matter? No. Which one do I flip? The last one. Yeah. Savannah? Well, you could, but I'm incredibly lazy. I'm just going to do them all at the same time. Yeah, let's make things easy, right? So we're going to flip this one. So my difference of squares, 3x plus 5, 3x minus 5. It's going to end up on the bottom. X plus 5 is on the top. Brittany, we hopped and skipped all the way to number 7. All right, so back to the first fraction. That's just an x to the 4th. That's just an x plus 5, nothing I can do. That's just a 3x minus 5, and that's just an x. So not a lot of factoring going on here. But just because there's 3, I can actually do them all at the same time. But don't forget your next step, which is your restrictions. X cannot equal what? Good. So there's your restrictions, and then cancel. Any top, any bottom. It doesn't matter where it's at. So we have an x plus 5. I can cancel those. 3x minus 5. And x. Changes that to x cubed. So what do we got left? Good. Yay. So 3 fractions. Really that much bad? Is it that much worse than the other ones? That much bad? Yeah, no, I can't talk today. I do not. All right, last one. Take a minute and look at it. I'll give you time to work on it on your own, but let's talk real quick. Which one flips? It's the second one. Because you always multiply by the reciprocal. So this division changes to multiply, then the one right after it is the one that changes. Okay? So take a few minutes and work through this one. All right, let's see how we did, guys. All right, so wherever your division is changes to multiply, the fraction right after your division sign is the one that's going to flip. Okay, so for the first one, when we factor, we're going to have x minus 4 and x plus 3. The bottom is 8x squared. Flipping this one, I can take an x squared out, so I'd have x plus 3. The bottom, which is now the top, take out a 2x squared, so 4x minus 1. And then neither of these will factor. So that's steps 1, 2, and 3, all at the same time. All right, then we have to do our restrictions. X cannot equal, what does this one give me? 0. You can tell me twice if you want, but it's not necessary. There's 0 again. Negative 3, and good. So there's your restrictions. And then any top, any bottom. So the obvious ones are the x plus 3 and the 4x minus 1. What else did we do? X squared. Don't matter. I could have canceled those two. Or this one and this one. Doesn't matter. Any top, any bottom. It all comes out in the end. Good. And then 2 and the 8. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So on the top, I have an x minus 4. A 1, which I can write or not write. I have an x plus 2. On the bottom, I have a 4 and an x squared. And we are done. Was that a happy? Yay. All right, good. All right, questions on single fraction, multiplying, or divide? Tomorrow we get to start adding and subtracting. What do we know about fractions and adding and subtracting? Not the greatest common factor, but they need common denominators. Yay! Those will be fun tomorrow. Yeah. I canceled this x squared with this one. You could have went this one and this one if you want, but they always got to cancel in pairs. Anything else?